Welcome to OM Report by Andre Alpa, your interview-focused podcast on topics from online marketing to internet startups.
Okay, today's OM Report is with Marty. Marty, can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Marty Weintraub. Do you know what that means in German? Do you? Weintraub?
Weintraub is a
wine grape.
Wine grape.
It's a
exactly.
Vintner family. Vintner. And I'm really into wine. And you know what's really cool? Like being German by descent, my family from Eastern Europe and Germany. I got into wine as an adult, like over age 45, really got into fine wine to where it's a very passionate hobby of mine. And then at about age 50, I just went, shit, my last name's Weintraub.
Maybe
that means wine grape. Holy crap.
And you didn't see it all the time?
I didn't notice.
But you don't have like anybody in the family who used to, make wine or something?
Maybe generations. I wish I could say I come from a colorful Riesling past,
like
but
that.
I don't. But you know what, anyway, so my name is Marty, and to you, my German friend, I say Weintraub with great pride.
Perfect, and I totally understand it. So we wanted to chat about psychographics, which is a topic that you focus on, and psychographics are not like demographics?
Psycho-targeting for marketing mofos. Well, you don't have to take that out of this interview.
No, we don't.
Okay, Glass, take a picture.
So when I think about glass, I always think about that the battery won't hold for very long. How do you deal with it? I mean, you have it on your hat for the whole day.
Well, first, it's not so much the glass that's the issue for batteries, though it will drain across the day if you use it quite a bit.
Yes.
It's more the phone that is tethered with Bluetooth and hotspot. It needs the services from the phone.
So you switch off the Bluetooth?
I carry a brick and always keep my phone plugged in all the time. Because when you have glass, sharing is so effortless and important for SEO by how you can effortlessly distribute to Plus and other social communities for SEO and engagement purposes.
Yes.
That I just don't care. I'll carry a brick around. I carry 3 extra cell phone batteries. Who gives a shit?
It's true.
For my S4.
On the other hand, luckily there's places to plug your phone anyway.
Psychographics. Before we got into psycho talk, the difference between psychographics and demographics is that psychographics are more about interests, proclivities, affinities, things that we believe in, occupations. Like for instance, in Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, I know how to distribute content with paid things that look organic in social. Say I want to distribute to all the molecular biologists in Eastern Europe who speak English. And there's various ways and targeting to do that. Psychographics is where you target the part that makes the whole person that's conducting the search. And they're the same people who are searching too, so distributing content along psychographic nodes is pretty big.
So I think psychographics is probably going to be like it maybe become as big as AdWords. That's based on mostly keywords, right?
Every single marketer in the whole world that runs content strategies, as sure as SEO practitioners must buy search PPC, will be buying paid organic, which means organic looking paid units in social channels.
It's like something like promoted tweets. That would
or
be an example.
or Facebook page post ads that are just in the feed.
Yes. I mean, they're marked, but they're in the feed and they look like the rest, but they're still marked as
I'll tell you what,
right?
Raise your hand if you get so much from SEO that you never in your career have to buy search pay-per-click ever. You get all you want with SEO for free.
Nobody? Not sure.
No, okay, half. Okay, well, you'd like to have 10x so you can make your numbers for the month just from SEO. No, obviously, every search engine's monetized with those searches because there's not much above the fold for many searches that are actually organic. And at paid ones in Google AdWords, like PLAs, they look organic to people.
That's true.
So every engine, platform, community, network, site, social tool, every company that ever figured out how to make money with anything above the fold organic in contextual, social, or search, we ended up having to pay for it, and now there's no free content distribution, hardly. Well, there is. Like, you can distribute things organically just fine. It works just fine organically. It just goes a lot slower than it would if you amplified it.
Sure. So what do you think? Will in social media, will there be a separation of the, let's say, trades like with search engine advertising and search engine optimization? Will there be a separation, or do you think that because the advertising in social media is so native that you won't be able to separate the two.
That's an amazing
trades.
Okay, so that's a better question even than the smart questioner knows. That's a good question, because we've believed for many years that there's a hybrid model for community managers that have them running their own amplification. And at Aim Clear, the company that I own and run creatively, our community managers, a dozen of them, come from a very strong, hardcore public relations background, are amazing community managers and can run their own page post ads and promoted tweets and LinkedIn wall promotions. And plus, we're talking about targeting psychographics to amplify content native in channels. What's really interesting to think about, and what we've never talked about in public, but we're going to, so this will be the first time we talk about this in public, so we haven't even really written about it. Facebook, you can use Facebook data to target Facebook network users, 1.2 billion Facebook ads targeting data. You can use partner data inside of Facebook to target Facebook network users, and you could use Facebook data mashed up with partner data using either the and or the or operator. For instance, they're interested in free WordPress widgets, typepad, and massive blogger interests, and then and partner data that says they're homemakers, and partner data that says they live in houses between $250,000 and $1 million a house. So what you have there is your rich mommy bloggers.
That's nice.
Right?
That's nice. And then you can cater your content directly to them in a native environment.
Yes. What's really interesting is that you go, okay, well, I've got Facebook data, which is inside channel network targeting. I've got partner data that's inter, that's other people's data. So now I'm mashing up inter and intra data. And then what's really cool is I can take that partner data and go into my trading desk, my DSP, where I could target anybody on the whole internet, and I can use the rest of the targeting data from the partner. Like, for instance, there's Data Logic and Epsilon inside of Facebook. I could go use all of Data Logic or Epsilon, just standalone, serving banner ads to everywhere. And that's radical targeting. That's where you could target people based on the length of their mortgage or shit like that. Like crazy B2B and B2C targeting. Crazy.
Okay. But does it mean for you as a company that you're going to spread into, helping people target their display advertising campaigns too?
We already do.
All right.
We already do. Anything you think of as radical Facebook targeting can easily be served across a couple of dozen data services internet-wide. It's not just Facebook. One other fascinating bit about psychographics. So retargeting, right?
Sure.
You send somebody to a page, you use AdRoll or Retargeter or one of them to
whatever.
Or even remarketing, Google remarketing.
Sure.
Actually, Google remarketing is closest to the concept as a standalone product. But anyway, right now I can set a retargeting cookie and I can retarget filtered by an additional layer of psychographics. Right, that's what you do with remarketing inside of Google Analytics.
So what you would, for example, do so we have like a click place. Let's say I'm a big retailer and I put a retargeting pixel on everybody that visits me, and then I cross-check with Facebook who is already my fan.
It wouldn't be Facebook, because Facebook doesn't provide that service yet.
All right.
They probably will. You would have to do it with your own trading desk, your own DSP.
Yes.
But you could, if you're setting the retargeting cookie yourself and you have partnership with data services, it means that you can only retarget people who have an affinity, there's that word again, in using high-end credit cards online to buy stuff on the internet, or they're rabid buyers of a certain. Also,
so I could adapt my retargeting depending on how solvent the customers may be.
Definitely financial considerations, online buying considerations,
or just bid differently. If I know they don't have a big budget, I'll probably bid less to display ads for them, and for the others that I know that have a lot more money, that I would bid a lot more, right?
One thing to keep in mind about this, filtered retargeting, where you go for the only retarget people based on psychographic filters using a DSP that accesses exchanges using third third-party data objects like BlueKai or Epsilon or Forbes or Expedia data or Newstar data objects. That only works at scale because you filter down audiences. In fact, just as a clarifying caveat, it all works at a certain level of scale because there's 680,000 people in America who have very identifiable blogger interests. By the time you go homemakers, you just cut that down to 800 people. Like if you but that's okay because
those are exactly the ones
it's
they're
beautiful
going to eat up your content that you probably provide especially for them, right?
It's beautiful for content distribution because they're micro buys to the right people. Just you have to understand that you could indulge in all the hyperbole you want about layers, but if you sent 180 people to your website and you want to filter that by the length of their mortgage, you just ran out of people. Most of them probably, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you have to always understand that, like for instance in Australia, it's around 30 million people, right? So that means that if you're targeting in Australia, you might not get to be so fancy. You might even get more traditional. You might go age, gender, marital status. So there's a short tail and a long tail, and it's dependent on the size of the populations and scale. That's a very important consideration. Okay. Maturity in psychographic targeting is knowing how not to go deep.
All right. So I really want to talk about your blog post you did yesterday or the day before, so it's early.
Trouble.
What
was it called?
I know because
I gotta find what it was called. It's okay. We're gonna take a time out. Okay, ready?
Wait, because I know I wrote your colleague who was helping me schedule.
Okay, Kathy. I got it. How much do I love the hand grenade? How much do I love that?
Okay, so
I'm so lucky. I have an amazing. Okay, go ahead. So, ready, set, start.
All right, so we wanted to talk about a great blog post that Marty did. It's called Easily Buy SEO Lift and Disrupt Google's Vaunted Search Algorithm. So it's it's not just slightly irritating and it's slightly, astonishing. So basically what you were playing around with, or the examples that you've talked about in the blog post that anyone can read.
They're all real.
Yes. So
it works like crazy.
I know.
It always works.
So you're buying native advertising from social networks, pushing it to Plus or other social networks.
Basically, if you look at the universe of psychographic ads, promoted tweets, Facebook ads, LinkedIn ads, I suppose to an extent paid Reddits, then also search ads too. And then you look at, so those are ad platforms, right? So now I look at potential social destinations, Plus posts, tweets, Facebook posts, pins, Pinterest pins. See, in every social site, you can almost always get to the detail page of it, right? Like a landing page.
Yes.
And so, of course, you could take anything and put it on your Facebook wall. You could put Google SERPs on your Facebook wall, and if you put it on your company wall, you can repackage it. You could replace the image in the right format for Facebook page posts. You could replace every text field, and you can essentially repackage it and serve. And Facebook will let you put any of it organically on your wall, including pointing to Google+, but they will not let you buy page post ads to Google+, because I'm guessing they consider it competition, which is interesting because at least 52 people use Google+.
Yeah, they're not seeing each other as competition usually, but in that case,
But Facebook must, because they won't let you buy ads to it.
Exactly.
But with the exception of Facebook ads pointing to Google+, every single one of those channels I said will point to every single one. So in other words, you can buy a Google search ad to your pin, or to your YouTube video, or to your Facebook post, or to Plus.
Yeah. So let's just make up an example, and then we can, spin it for, in a very specific case. I make up like a great summary, like 10 things to watch out when you go to PopCon and you're from Europe.
Yep.
So I put that on Google+, and I want to push my, Google+ authority.
So
that would be like one target. And then I would buy search ads for people who are searching for, PopCon recaps where people talk about it.
Well, that would be great.
And then I push them straight to the Plus page.
But the trick is you have to be magnanimous and very organic. Like let me do an exercise with you.
Sure.
If you were going to tweet that post and you weren't thinking about amplification, and you're going to just drive people right to your blog post because you tweeted it, you'd go, you go, hello, smile, name of blog post, hourly link, right?
Yes.
Just you wouldn't be going, try my product, you'd be just sharing it.
Sure.
Okay, so I could
the blog post has to be informational.
So what I could do is, instead of pushing to the blog post itself, I could push to the plus detail page with an hourly link. And then I could promote it to people who are following the PubCon hashtag, but then
on
Twitter, and then I would introduce another post that was purely social, that maybe even barely had a link, that was something clever that a speaker said. Like this morning, I was rotating a promoted tweet targeted to people who follow @Matt_Cutts and Rand Fishkin for the SEO post on the PubCon hashtag with an hourly link to the Google Plus organic page, at the same time as I was amplifying a picture of my pancakes in the restaurant and a tweet about breakfast to the same crowd.
Why do you do the second thing? Is that just so it looks more mixed? It doesn't look, just like a one-way street?
I do it because I think it's really freaking cool to share pictures of my food with my friends if I'm into it.
But you think that the amplification is happening in two places, then it's better because it's slightly distracting, the pancakes, right?
Well,
they're not really on topic when you think
first
about
of all,
it
ignited a conversation about my pancakes. Second of all, I only ran it for 20 minutes.
All right.
Like, if you run that throughout the day, then that's funny. But if you run it, it's
expensive.
If you run it through the day, it's stupid and you look like an idiot. But if you run it for 20 minutes before the keynote from breakfast, then you're sharing your pancakes with your friends.
Sure, and then there's a lot more attention for your next post.
You know what the KPI? Well, maybe, I don't know. You know what the KPI is? Pancakes.
So how many comments?
Fun. No, fun.
All right.
Like, if your shit doesn't stand do you know what the KPI for the amplified page post is about Plus? Even though it will receive the good things that happen from going to Plus and traffic to the site, the KPI is freaking pancakes. It's for fun. Like, great content is stuff that you just do it because you want to, because you're burning to share something that matters to you with
so
the
what did you
people
have
that
with
you
your
love.
Pancakes? Now that we're talking about pancakes, what did you have with your pancakes? Like classic syrup or some ice cream?
Shitty fake syrup.
Ugh.
Great butter. Egg scrambled really, really hard because I don't like raw eggs.
Okay.
And a medium rare porterhouse.
Wow. That's some breakfast?
It was a shitty steak.
Okay.
It's fine though.
So actually it was not worth sharing. There's a lot better food to have.
Sharing made the breakfast worth eating, friend.
Okay. You ate it just so you can share it.
I always take a minute to tweet my food before I eat because the time you take makes you more hungry and it always pays you back.
Wow. So I don't do it always. Only when it's a really good food and when I'm really convinced. It's like a...
Me too, but I always eat good food.
You didn't this morning.
I ate colorful food though.
Okay, that's true. All right.
Good isn't about how well it tastes.
Let's talk about the amplification idea because I really, really love the idea. So you basically do that for customers as well, or you teach them to do that on their own, or you manage their stuff and then
another great question. Well, it took many years to settle on how to do that, but essentially
like a slightly standardized
we do
process.
Editorial calendar amplification where we flag things ahead of time to be promoted to predetermined audiences with teams that package them ahead of time, like figure out what the wall is going to say, what the tweet is going to say, and we watch for things to work organically in one channel and amplify it inter and intra channel.
Right. So how many people is there at Aimclear?
26.
How long do you need somebody to coach him so they can, manage on their own without you having to look over their shoulders every once in a while and tell them,
we're Aimclear, and with the speed of the change of the platforms, it's hard for us to always have our teams fully up to speed.
That's what I thought.
And there's certain bottlenecks in the process.
Right.
I would say that the people that run those campaigns for us, like 4 or 5 of them,
yes,
I'd say they all have between 5 and 8 years experience and 2 to 3 directly with this.
Wow.
And the people who are specialists on the team who do pieces of it, they can contribute non-creative after 3 to 6 months and creative after about a year. It's hard. Mike, I have a book actually that's a Wiley book. I don't remember what it's called, but it's good. It's about community management. I remember what my first book was called, and the second one, the book company named it. But if you just search Amazon or Marty Weintraub Amazon,
we won't miss it. We'll put in a link.
There's a community management book that speaks to the nitty-gritty of, we call it editorial calendar amplification.
Right.
Everybody in the industry right now is talking about editorial calendars and content, and you know what? That's the same shit we did with PR 30 years ago, and AimClear has been doing that on scheduled amplification to predetermined psychographic buckets as an appliance sort of services for like 3 years.
Right. So does it work in other countries as well? Because I mean, because as you said before, if the user base is not as big, it probably won't work.
With all the same caveats that apply to any other multilingual, multinational localization. Think about English. Michael Jackson was bad.
Exactly.
Right? And what does blow me away anyway? I mean, is somebody going, like, there's a vernacular. Also, if you're in an elevator in America, you don't take your pants off. Like, there's just conventions that are important for our society and some of them that's not unique to America, but you get my point. And so when you do, it works the same way in other countries, in the same channels, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, and it works in native sites as well. The point is that you have the same set of concerns about addressing the vernacular of the translation and understanding customs. When an amazing Asian business person gives me her business card, I take it and I look at it like that, because I know that's how you respect her as a business person by custom and convention in her country. So doing this in foreign lands is the intersection of pheromes, fanaticism, vernacular, and customs localization. And we do it. We work with Andy Atkins Kruger and Web Certain in York, a couple hours ride from London, in like 30 languages. And trust me, everyone in the world will be doing this, because if you don't, nobody sees your shit. No matter how much your content is distributed, nobody sees it. And social, say you get your 10,000 people following you or your 100,000 people following you, the ones that see that by EdgeRank, who are the right ones to see it, you're preaching to people who already know you, and that's very valuable.
You have to go beyond
but
that.
The organic sharing is not very much. And so the problem with that model is there's nothing introducing new people into that system all the time. And when you amplify content out by psychographics, it's a steady stream of marketing to people that know you already and creating new people that know you already and driving people back to your content. The KPIs are psychographic traffic to your site that performs as well as organic, conversion, content conversion in an attribution model over time, in-channel engagement if they hang out there, follow, shares, likes, etc., distribution, intentional distribution to PR psychographics for natural link building.
That would be amazing.
Well, it just works that way. This takes care, and you get social signals, you get links, you get traffic, you get engagement, and you get conversion. What am I missing?
Nothing. So
it's the secret. It's the secret sauce.
I think even on top, you're building a brand. Probably just on top of all these.
When people say, "Oh, I want to brand my company," how do I prove it? I go, "Well, what I just described to you proves it just fine."
Exactly.
Like my favorite brand is a sale. I can prove that I branded when I sell you something. I can prove when I branded when you follow me.
Or when you just drive traffic.
Those 5 nodes I just said. Those 5 nodes I just said take care of SEO, takes care of social, takes care of traffic, takes care of branding. Like, bite me. What's missing?
No, it's all good. It's all right there. I think that's a great way to end.
I like it.
Right, Marty,
that was
thanks
really,
so much for the interview.
really fun.
OMReport and Andre Alpa would like to thank you for your attention. You can get more episodes on www.OMReport.com.